Hey, I want to say real quick, snappy review. I don't know who here saw The Hobbit.
We did.
I did, and Kevin, we were there, and I just wanted to say real quick, I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. I have no more or less to say than the first one. I had a good time. I really enjoyed it.
I feel the same way. It was definitely like a middle movie.
It was not standalone.
No.
Like the first one was, sort of.
I was blown away with what I got out of... I had no idea... I don't want to spoil anything, but the stuff with Smaug...
Yeah.
I had no idea there was going to be that much stuff.
It was wicked, yeah.
It was awesome.
That stuff was wicked. One thing that is really funny is a certain shot that they get. Again, and we're keeping it spoiler-free. But something that is hilarious... The one thing that is,
unique
in that movie is there is a point... Someone jumps in a river, someone jumps in water, where they cut to, as the chaos of, I'm in water, is happening, they are cutting in between the like master shot and almost like a, not first person, but just chaotic water footage.
We called it a GoPro shot.
That was my joke, is that it was like they cut
I thought you were trying to dance around it, I'm sorry.
No, it was like they cut to elvish GoPros. That's the best way I can describe it.
That would have been so much funnier if Garrett hadn't ruined your punchline.
I thought he was like dancing around. I was like, why isn't he saying?
But that's okay. Anyway. No.
You're out. You're cut.
I'm cut.
I'm just saying.
No.
Can you get a shot on this?
You're right, Garrett.
Get a shot on the new replacement?
I feel bad, honestly.
No. I was joking.
Well.
But anyway.
But no joke. Shut up, dude. Stay off.
Anyway.
That guy, hey, this guy, better guest.
I was just going to say...
It's a close-up on the toy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they fucked with that part. When it, like, gets, like, a home release. Because everyone talked about that. It was just like, that was like a weird... considering how last minute they put them together, I was watching the documentary on the first one, which, by the way, if you liked The Hobbit, the first movie... Get the extended Blu-ray that came out. It's got like 9 hours of documentary shit. And it's all really good. But I watched them talking about the making of it, and they delivered the last shot of Smaug's eye. Remember in the first one?
Yeah.
Smaug's eye opens. They could not get that to look right. Ever. They redid it to the point that they were just sleeping at the office like, okay, we rendered a new one. Is it done? Oh, God, that still looks shitty. All right, do it again. And then they would sleep some more, whatever. They delivered that shot the morning of the premiere.
Wow.
And
still looks shitty.
They exported it and just sent it as fast as they could, and it premiered, and then it was in theaters the next week.
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Anyway. Hey, if people have questions, ask them in the chat. We won't do Skype tonight. We'll just stick to this. Yeah. But I want to say real quick, what were we saying? Oh, people asking, was a Prometheus documentary good on the Blu-ray? I think regardless of what you felt about that movie, it's an interesting documentary. They go into
I gotta watch that.
Things that they get into even things that was fucked up. They talk about everything that went good and bad in the production of that movie.
That's what's really good about the Alien documentary. Is the bad.
Exactly. So it's really good. But I really got to emphasize: get that Hobbit extended Blu-ray. I watched, while I was doing stuff today, 4.5 hour documentary on the making of it. And then I was like, cool, well, that's done. And then I put it in the case. Wait, what? What's Appendices Disc 2? 445 more on that disc. But the second disc is more like vignettes on separate thing. It isn't one long documentary. It's, hey, here's the casting week of when we got all the dwarves. Hey, here's the premiere. Hey, it's more like separated things. But it's incredible. You don't get extras like that on a DVD or a Blu-ray as much anymore. Mm-mm. And they went all out. And what I like, and I thought this was cool. Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
I thought this was cool too.
Yeah.
The appendices, these behind-the-scenes documentaries, what I like is that it's Appendices Part 7.
Oh.
They continue the numbering of
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I mean, it is like there's an intro from Peter Jackson where he's like, "Hey, watch these after. Don't watch these before Lord of the Rings. Watch these in order because we will talk about things that happen. Because it's them all the drama of trying to get the movie together.
Oh, wow.
And like how Warner Brothers owned the movie rights, but then MGM owned distribution.
I remember
so they were
that
like,
shit.
okay, they finally worked out a deal for all of them. And then MGM ran out of money. So it's like, what do we do? Guillermo del Toro left. And then it's Peter Jackson talking about like, everyone has this vision of like Guillermo del Toro. Oh, he left. Good thing Peter Jackson will do it.
He didn't want to do it.
But
He
he's
didn't
like,
wanna do
hey,
it.
he's like, it has that impression, but it was months of like, what are we going to fucking do? I was never on the table to direct that. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff, and I was busy with other things, and so it was just them working on different things and trying to get it together. And it was after all this time that they were like, hey, no one will commit to this movie unless we have a director. So what do we do? And Peter Jackson was like, fuck. Then I'll
Yeah,
do
because
it.
he probably had plans for other projects
shit,
that he
yeah.
wants to get
So
done.
he's like,
What's
all
funny,
right.
though, is like, who wouldn't want to direct fucking Hobbit?
But
Yeah.
if you've
It was
done
over
it,
the studio,
but
was
hey,
like, yeah, Peter, everyone's busy.
but what if you were a guy at the top of your fucking game and you already knocked it out of the park 3 fucking times in a row? There's a hell of a lot to lose rather than gain.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Peter Jackson's like, find somebody, and then the studio's like, yeah, we tried. Nobody wants to do it.
So
Yeah.
Really?
So-
Peter, sorry, it's you.
But I bet a bunch of people were like, I don't want to come in and be the one who fucked this up.
I'll go fuck up the Hobbit. I
But
don't
also,
give a shit.
but also
Give me a
too,
chance.
but also too, it was such an unbelievable commitment. It was, hey, you're directing these movies over the next
Another trilogy.
like 3 years.
Yeah.
So there were lots of directors just couldn't commit to it.
Wow.
Yeah, but every director that could commit to it, they just didn't take.
Yeah. So
They wanted
So
Peter
Peter
Jackson.
Jackson went, all right, fuck it, I'll do it. And then he signed on, and then they were like, so when are we shooting this? And the studio was like, if we don't want everyone to abandon this, you got 5 months to get this ready. And he was like, I had 2.5 years of pre-production for Lord of the Rings trilogy. They're like, yeah, you got 5
Better
months.
call in some favors.
So he was like, okay, I don't think I can do that. And they were like, well, that's where we're at.
Wow.
Okay? So they had a meeting the next week, and he came back in and was like, all right, here's the only way I see how we're getting this done in 5 months, yeah? Hire everybody we had for the first one. That's it. Like,
call everyone for the
just
first
call
one.
everyone in the book and tell them they're hired, and we just do it.
Huh.
That's how we're doing it, or we're not getting it done. They were like, okay. So he's like, so we had same costumer, same effects team, same.
course.
The crew was the same.
Of course.
That's good.
And they said we had some new people because we shot with like reds and stuff. So like we had some new crew. Otherwise, he was like the same people. He said we didn't go into hiring or evaluating people. It was nope, we're not doing that. We're bringing all the same people. And so
Was there any slow-mo guys they hired?
whatever with the with the red cameras and stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
But the whatchamacallit? Oh, what was I gonna say? So they hired all those people, whatever. And they thought, well, you know what? How can we buy more time if we only have this much? And then they were adapting it and realized, a big chunk of this first movie is Bilbo doing riddles with Gollum.
Oh, really?
So they made that first, and they were like, yeah, probably take like 3 weeks to film that, right? All right, great. And so they scheduled that for the first 2 weeks of just filming
What?
him doing those riddles in the cave with
That-
Gollum.
the first 2
so
weeks
that so that everyone else could be getting shit ready. So it was just like,
Oh, okay.
hey, you guys in a cave for the next 2 weeks. Are you cool with that? All right, great. Like that was how they faked
So that's
it.
some of the first stuff they filmed.
Yeah. It was
Out of sequence.
yeah.
That's cool.
But anyway, the craziest part of the documentary is them filming Gandalf with the dwarves in the house because the height difference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so what they did before in the past Lord of the Rings movies was forced perspective.
Yeah.
Gandalf's there, but he's really close to the lens, and Frodo is way back, and it makes it look like they're side by side, but he's bigger. So they couldn't do that with 3D. They said shooting that now, it makes. Gandalf is whoa. And then the dwarves are here. They're like, we couldn't film it that way, so we couldn't use that effect. But they were like, so what do we fucking do? Like, we got to have real time acting so they could
Play off
each other, but what do we do with that? And they said, so what they did, it's insane to watch this. Gandalf is never on the set with them ever.
What?
They filmed both at the same time. They built Bag End
Yeah.
Fuck.
and build a green bag end. It is all green screen. The table is green.
Holy shit.
Everything is chroma key green.
Holy shit.
And they are on 2 different sets on opposite ends of the
What part of
soundstage.
the movie is this?
When all the dwarves having dinner with Gandalf there, all that stuff,
okay.
you know?
Yeah.
In the intro.
And
all the singing.
Gandalf is on, and they filmed all the camera movement is motion control.
Yeah.
So that when they move the camera on the main set,
It moves on the other set.
perfectly
That's
the same way on the green
crazy.
screen
And they
set.
can hear each other? They're mic'd?
They had earpieces.
No fucking
So it's
way.
like, and so they Gandalf's gonna be right here, and everyone look at that marker. All right, great. So what do we do about this? And then they would hear, oh, well, I think we need a burglar.
He's
Oh,
across
so
the
that-
studio acting
He's
in his
somewhere
own
else, and
set.
they can't see him. So they show them doing that, and the dwarves were doing fine with it.
Yeah.
They show Gandalf, and they were like, "Hey, this." So we're describing this. Oh, it's Ian McKellen
Yeah.
describing it. He goes, "This may sound like an interesting technique to those at home. It's a goddamn nightmare." And it shows him. He's in a green box.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do this. Yeah, you should do this. And they said,
makes no
"We're gonna."
sense.
And he's like, "And I've told them to play this footage. I had a very bad day."
Oh, he had a breakdown?
And it shows him, he cries on set.
No!
Because it's his first day back, and he's like, it was so hard for me to get in character. He's in this green box going, what did I do this? And then whatever. And then, no, I'm sorry, but.
That's got to be so absolutely frustrating.
And they're all just like, do we say anything? And he's like,
Sobbing?
Peter, I don't know what to do. I really don't. I don't know what. And he says, like, I really thought, he's
they
like,
showed this
he's like,
footage.
up until this point, I had really debated, like, should I keep acting? I'm getting really old.
Yeah.
Technology's changing, and I can't keep up with it. I've never acted on green screen in that way, whatever. And they're telling me to look at green dots that are the people. I don't know how to do that. And so he's like, he was so upset.
Oh.
And they were like, hey, your footage is so good. Don't act like it. Don't think it's not.
Yeah.
You have done such a good job. Don't worry about it. Please don't. And he's like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, trust me, you're great. Just by being you're better than like any actor in the world.
Yeah.
You're so good. He's like, okay, all right, whatever. And then what they did while that was happening, Peter Jackson told these production assistants, everybody's got like a tent
Yeah.
that their stuff is in. They were like, hey, he's so into Lord of the Rings. Go deck out his tent with all our like artwork and stuff, just to get him back in the spirit of stuff. And they were like, okay. And the production assistants were like, when do you want this done? In like 2 hours? Cool, we're fucked. All right. And so they went and got all these paintings of like landscapes, all the stuff they had.
Yeah.
And so when he got back to his tent, it was like Middle Earth, like shrine, whatever. And he was like, and that made me feel so much better, because then I realized, oh, I'm still fucking part of this.
Okay.
Like,
That's cool.
oh, that's really cool. And so he's like, that was like really, really like, that got him back into it. And then he's like, okay, I'm ready to be Gandalf again, whatever. So anyway, it was really, really, really cool. That whole documentary is awesome.
It's good.
That's cool. I remember having a conversation with my brother maybe 2 weeks before they announced that they were releasing those, because they kind of didn't announce it until like the end of October. I think.
What,
the extended editions?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
They did not talk about it again, like at all. Like it was like, well, it made my brother think, who bought both. All Lord of the Rings when they were originally released, and then the extended editions.
Damn.
He was that person who needed to see it again.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I'm like, yeah, man, can't wait till they announce that extended edition. I'm like, that's why I haven't bought the Hobbit yet. And he's like, I don't think they're gonna do an extended edition this time around. I'm like, well, that's stupid. Why would you think that? It's like, I mean, what else could you add in there? And I'm like, I mean, I don't know how to tell you this in any nice way, but you have to be fucking retarded if you think that the person who took 3.5-hour Lord of the Rings movies and made them 4.5-hour Lord of the Rings movies couldn't add, and then made people buy each one of those, couldn't come up with even 20 more minutes of footage for The Hobbit. You have to be fucking retarded.
And speaking of which, so the extended Hobbit, 12 minutes. I mean, it is nothing.
But
they make like 2 scenes, conversations a little longer.
But even that is better for me because I love the behind the scenes stuff.
It's worth it. You can tell that because the movies aren't that much longer, they made up for it in the
The
documentaries.
extended Hobbit is the third movie.
Yeah.
But I agree completely, and thank you.
Third movie.
Yeah,
because
it was
there
supposed to
was
be
only
two,
two.
and they made a third one instead because they had so much extra footage. So,
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
but the making of those movies is I don't really care about a lot of them. Like, I love the movie like Prometheus. I watched The Dark Knight Rises, but for the most part, I just whatever.
Making ofs aren't that. Yeah.
I love the making of the Lord of the Rings ones because so many of them are actual sets, and I just am so fascinated with that world. Like I haven't seen it yet, but I cannot wait to see that again.
What I love about how Peter Jackson makes his extended edition is it's very much for people who really care about what went into making those movies. Some of my favorite, I would say probably my favorite, like special edition, limited edition, extended edition of all time, it's got to be The Two Towers. Because they go into so much detail about every aspect of that movie. Yeah. And as somebody who just cares about Lord of the Rings, cool, you got to see how they made these special effects. As somebody who's really interested in how film is made,
exactly.
They don't just go, it was really interesting doing the sound work in this. We had, we worked with a lot of Foleys. Well, in film, the Foley artists are do this, and this. It's here's this scene. Here's what the Foley artist did. Here's the layer of the scene with the Foley artist. Now here it is with the sound effects of the footsteps. Here it is with the sound effects of the armor clanking. Here it is with the ambient noise. Yeah. And then here it is just with those. Now you can play them all together. And I think, can you control it? I feel like you can control.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You can like select the audio output on that one, like, audio 1, audio 2, audio, I think it goes up to like 30. I mean, I don't even know.
Jesus.
But the fact that it has that layer where you can just be like, the one scene at the Battle of Helm's Deep, you can get like all the sound of that beginning part. And the fact that they go into that much detail about how it was recorded and produced, that to me is like, why watch this for days? Like, or for 5 hours.
So this Blu-ray also has footage of the guy who does Gollum.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Serkis.
The live action footage of just him acting it.
Yeah.
And then the CG version that's following that. And then the triple split screen, the GoPro aimed at his face that was tracking his performance.
Oh, that's weird.
Or he's like that, and so it was really weird.
Oh, that's weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Like that to me, the fact that they can have that technology, and like I feel like it was basically the developers of LA Noire who created that like facial recognition for that type of motion tracking.
It bankrupted them.
Yeah, but
that studio went under, right?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of different reasons, though. No, I think they're still around, but like a lot of places won't work with them or something. Like I don't know.
A game is yet to come out with that level of facial detail.
They're working on a game now called Horror of the Orient.
Yeah.
You can kind of
see horror or
whore.
Like you're a whore. Like you're a whore.
Like they're a prostitute?
Yeah.
It's
Horror of the Orient.
Oh.
Horiental.
Horiental. That's good.
The Orient.
Horror of the Orient.
Oriental.
I really wanted to tell everybody about that Blu-ray because for some reason Warner Brothers is the one putting these out and they like don't promote them.
Yeah, that's weird.
That came out and it was like, what? And then there was a Dark Knight box set with new stuff that came out.
I didn't know that.
Hey, yeah, I would have bought that.
That came out or that was released because
it was all 3 movies.
There was one that came out last year where they just slapped the Blu-rays in a box.
And a book, right?
But then they even said then, like, hey, in a year we're putting out a legit trilogy set with more stuff and whatever. Really? That came out in September. It was like, cool, thanks for the...
What was on that?
Heath Ledger's final words.
Yeah, it was...
Why so serious?
It said, why so serious? And it answered the question.
Oh. It wasn't...
It was Luke...
I don't know if this is true. A lot of people in chat saying Horror of the Orient got canceled.
Oh, it did?
It didn't... Oh, and that's with the kiss I died.
So maybe Horiental will come out to replace it.
Oriental. Yeah.
Oriental.